A warm welcome back to the Information Security Stack together with me, Daniel Gustafsson and Kim Hindart.
Hoba.
I flunked the intro, as you might have heard, but I don't care. It's a Friday and I'm tired, so we'll live with that one. So, Kim, the world has apparently, or at least parts of Europe, has gone mad the last couple of weeks. And as a reaction to that, a bunch of things have appeared in things that countries, people, nations, governments really weren't prepared for. And we kind of wish that they didn't have to prepare for it either. It would have been lovely if no one wanted to purchase any guns or ammo or any weapon systems. That would be a fantastic deal for the world. No one wants to purchase anything in terms of guns and ammo. That would be lovely. The world would be a much better place then. But unfortunately, that's not true. We are in a situation that we are now in the Ukraine, and there are a bunch of other conflicts around the world, so don't get me wrong, that's not the only one. But in the part of the world where we live, this is the closest one to us. So we're not going to focus on any political things. We're not going to focus on anything from a war perspective, because we are not experts on that in any measure. But we do think we have something to add in terms of what we could think about now when we have to start to protect ourselves from a cyber perspective and from a personal cyber perspective, because the war is not only conducted with guns and ammo, unfortunately. So, Kim, where do we start with this whole scenario that has transpired in Europe for the last 2 weeks?
Yeah, to start with, conventional warfare, don't worry. He is way busy in Ukraine, so he won't attack any other nation anytime soon with conventional warfare.
No, that's pretty unlikely, at least.
But compared to our conventional warfare, we have decent protection and surveillance in regards to our air territory, or sea territory, or land borders. We know when someone is violating them. Do we have the same check and protection on their cyber borders?
The unfortunate answer to that is no. There are some countries better than others, don't get me wrong, but in general, no. It's pretty poor.
So let's discuss a bit, how can we all contribute to a better cybersecurity? And that's actually something you can easily do yourself.
Yeah.
In a cyber world. And this is what I try to say. Don't rely on your employer to do that. Don't rely on the government to do that. You can help yourself to do stuff. And we have just survived through a pandemic where we had to do specific things, every single individual, to help prevent the spread of infectious disease. The same can be done in the digital world. If you have things running and connecting to the internet, they may be infected. That's just the sad truth of it. But we can all help preventing huge spreads of disease. We can prevent the digital pandemics with pretty easy measures today. This is not something that will hinder your normal way of doing stuff. Absolutely not. But it's easy things to enable, and once you've enabled them one time, it makes your life a lot easier, and it helps you prevent a lot of spreading diseases. This is just that we don't know about this. So, I mean, I'm a bit shocked to learn that people learned why they need to wash their hands with soap during the pandemic. Yes. Don't stop washing your hands with soap.
No, please continue. Please continue to wash your hands.
But now we have been educated on how a human biological virus is spread. But we can all be better in understanding how digital diseases spread.
Yes.
And there are a few really simple things you can start to do to keep your stuff a bit cleaner and don't help spreading the disease. The most important one is install a virus and malware protection, antivirus protection. There are a lot of free ones available as well, so install one. And don't forget your smartphones, because those are also computers.
Yes.
So on your phones, on your computers at home, don't rely on work to do this. Don't rely on anyone else. Search and find, and you can find really good free stuff, actually. So it doesn't even have to cost you. That can help you a lot. That's a good thing. Enable firewalls. Unfortunately, a lot of firewalls are disabled by default. Yep. Enable them.
Yeah.
Make sure you have firewalls. If you don't know how, look for a friend. Ask for help. Look for a colleague that's a bit know. But it's an easy thing to enable on your home computers. Enable firewalls on your home computers. Keep stuff up to date. I know people are complaining, oh, there's updates all the time. Yes, update your phone and your computer and your apps all the time. Absolutely. There's a way big reason why you need to do this. So do the updates. Don't wait for them for months and years. When there is an update, make sure to update your phone, your computer, and your apps. So keep them up to date. That's simple. There's a good reason, and you help prevent spread a lot of disease by doing this. So keep your things up to date. That's a good lesson. So once there is an update, you set it on update. As a rule of thumb, before I go to bed every night, I put my phone on charge and I put on update. And let it run the update. I'm supposed to be sleeping anyway, so I won't need to muck around with my phone. That's an awesome opportunity to do updates on your computer and phone.
Apparently, you are not an Instagram influencer, because then you need to take a picture of you sleeping.
Exactly, I know.
Yeah, like every 5 minutes.
Yeah, but keep your phones up to date. And the last noticeable thing we can do: start using a password manager.
Yep.
The most serious things always comes from a really bad password. And we as humans can't do good passwords. We really can't. Use a password manager for this. Use a password manager to help you set proper, unique passwords on every service. People might think, but why should I bother if someone hacks my IKEA account? But if someone hacks stuff, it's still something that might be exploited for other purposes than just damaging you yourself. And that's spreading disease, cyber diseases. So don't do that. Just don't. No. Set proper passwords and use a password manager to help with that. When you have the chance, enable multi-factor authentication. That's also something you can ask for help and ask how to do. But enable multi-factor authentication for those who offer it, and you reduce it a lot. But the most important part, use a password manager. There's even a lot of free versions out there for password management that are really great and awesome tools.
Yeah.
It will make your life a lot easier as well, believe me. So those are some simple tips that can help. We can help, at least, because let's face it, prep for this disaster. It's far better to prep your digital stuff than running out buying lighters, water tanks, and shelters. No, we won't be conventionally attacked anytime soon. He's quite busy in Ukraine right now.
Well, at least in the part where we are currently. There might be other countries in the world, but no, he's not going to be able to conduct a two-front war right now. It's not going to happen.
No. So from that point, no, you don't need to prep that. What you can help is not give him opportunity to do more cyber attacks.
Yeah.
And then that's part of, don't give anyone the opportunity to exploit your digital equipment.
No.
So you can help with that. So.
And I just want to add a couple of things to this discussion as well, is that from a pure technical perspective, that's what Kim Wen talked about. But there's two things and two aspects that we need to keep in mind regarding any type of security. The first thing is that there are people in the world that is willing to do things that you are not willing to do. Do not use your own moral compass as a standard for what other people are willing to do. I know for a fact where my moral compass and my ethics, where it stops and where it begins and where it stops. I know very well what I am willing to do. But I read in the paper and I watch the news on a daily basis about people who has done things that I would not be able to do. They have a different view on the world. They have a different view on their life. They have a different view and a different angle of attack for why they do things. So my moral and my ethical compass is not the standard for everyone else. First rule. So yes, there are people that are willing to do a heck of a lot more things than you are willing to do. And do not get shocked when they do it to you. You have to prepare not only yourself, but your company as well, from an attack on a level that you yourself wouldn't dare to go. I think it was the Canadian defense minister that once upon a time said during the war in Afghanistan, I think it was in Iraq, he said, the enemy was willing to do things we couldn't even dream about doing. They were willing to do way more than we could even think or dare to dream about. And that's a reason to lose the war. You lost the war right there. Because if you can't even dare or even think about what could potentially happen to you, guess what? Someone else will and execute on that level. That means you have no defense for it. You already lost the fight. You don't even have to send troops. You don't even have to try to defend yourself. You already lost. In that perspective. And that's not a blame or shame on him. It's just that that's a very normal way for us humans to think, because we use our own moral compass and ethics as a guide for what I'm willing to do. But that's not the end all be all for what someone else might be able to do against you. So that's where you need to start. And also, second of all, I just want to add to this, please stop being armchair quarterbacks on Twitter and social media about the ongoing current situation and Captain Hindsight of what we should have done in order to prevent this. It's completely irrelevant discussions right now. The situation is what it is. The only thing that is relevant right now is action. What do we actually do now? So yes, if we were caught on guard and we realize that, oh, holy hell, we don't have a protection for a proper cybersecurity. We don't have a protection for our nation's security. We don't have everything in place that we need in order to protect ourselves. Then that's a realization we need to accept and then work from there. It's completely useless to start to pinpoint things we should have done. You can be Captain Obvious all you want. It doesn't help in the current situation. So start to look on what you can do. What is the actions we can take in order to, at least now, get to us a level of protection which is relevant for us. So I know it's so easy to say, oh, we should have done that. Oh, they should have thought about that. Oh, the politicians are completely useless. They didn't think about this and they didn't blah, blah, blah. It's an irrelevant discussion. What can we do now? And what actions can you take now in order to help? That's what we need to focus on. And in our world, in our perspective, we look at the cybersecurity perspective first, because that's where we have the skills and knowledge. I leave everything else to people with skills and knowledge in the rest of the fields, because I don't have that skills and knowledge. But from this perspective, from a cyber perspective, we can do things now which can at least ease the situation moving forward. And then raise the bar for the expectations of what could happen to us. And don't use your own moral compass as that guide. So that's where we stand with that. And if nothing else, if you have colleagues, friends, and family in the current situation or in other dire situations around the world or in your country currently, help them. as best as you can. And also, if you live in a free world, in a free country where you have all the luxuries available to us, such as me and Kim, we live in Sweden. We've been living in a free little bubble for the last 70 years in Sweden. And all of a sudden, the world comes crashing down, and we realize that our national security and our freedom is a very, very fragile thing. It could happen, and it can change very drastically and very fast. Go hug your kids and your spouse or family and friends. Call your mom and dad and say, you know what? Just say hi. Reach out to people. And if you have colleagues and friends in the current situation, I hope they will be okay, and I hope you can assist them to the best of your ability. But until next week, that's that. Take care of yourselves.